Hear each other.
Pardon, Charles?
I can hear everyone. Can we all hear everyone else?
Yes.
Yeah.
Splendid stuff.
Good to hear you
Yes.
guys.
How are we, guys?
Not too bad at all. How are yourself?
Yeah, not bad.
Good stuff.
Not bad. So, forgive me. I haven't really prepared any text or words or anything for this. So we're just going to freestyle it.
Let's go
No
for
worries.
it. Let's go
Usually
for
works. Usually works best when you do that, doesn't it? Keep
Yeah.
it flowing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it sounds more natural, I think. Anyway, so
Absolutely.
yeah. So, how did you guys get into the podcasting then?
I think that was sort of a lockdown boredom sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It started as a hobby, didn't it, really?
It did, yeah. It started as a bit of a laugh, and then we went, oh, okay, this is actually quite enjoyable, and
Yeah.
And the first couple of podcasts were quite dire,
Yeah.
I will admit. But they got progressively better, and we're just sort of, because of the current lockdown, we're not really doing anything at the moment. But no, we're looking to go full throttle, if you'll pardon that.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we're able to get
excuse
back
my
into-
co-presenter's poor puns throughout this entire podcast.
That's all right. It's weird because I've been wanting to start podcasting for years. I've been listening to Joe Rogan and people like that for years, maybe 10 years, about 8 years, I'd say. And I just thought, you know what, let me see if I can find somewhere where I can do like a course, just to learn the basics. And it all started from there, really. And I've been doing it about 6 months now. To me, it's an everyday occurrence now. I just go to work and do my thing. But it's an enjoyable job, so I don't want to ever give that up. But fitting the podcasting in with my full-time job is pretty hard. I don't know what you guys do for a living, but it's pretty.
So if you'll indulge me here, Dervish,
Yes.
you could go and have a chat with Elon Musk and talk about all the bits that he's got going on, and you've chosen to talk to two kids.
No. Do you know
In
what?
the
Folks, they're
Midlands.
20-year-olds who can hardly turn a spanner on an.
We're very flattered
Very
indeed.
flattered.
No, honestly, if you know me, and hopefully over the next few months, with the car shows will open up. Hopefully, the COVID times has been a little bit rough on all the classic car shows and all the motor racing events around the world. Hopefully, we're seeing the back end of the troubles now. People are getting vaccinated, and hopefully they'll start opening up a little bit more.
Absolutely.
I know you guys are into Formula One a lot.
Yes, we discuss it on the podcast. We will argue about Formula One for as long as you want,
Till the cows
whether we're
come
on
home.
camera or off camera.
Yeah. So what's your bugbear then, Charles? What's yours about Formula One?
Regarding Formula One?
Yeah.
All of it. All of it. Take it out and we'll start again. I'm talking V10s, no traction control, the whole bit. Let's go back to basics on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure Will disagree with me as he normally does, just to play
Come on in,
devil's
Will.
advocate.
Tell us.
I think
Will.
we need to head in a more forward direction, Charles, to be honest with you. I think I would like to go back to the V8 engines. I think the V10s, as good as they sound, they are a bit outdated now. I'd like to go forward with the V8 hybrid model. Go forward. So you're still getting that sound, but you're just going forward with this.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't go down the electric route, please.
No. Honestly, don't get started on electric
not.
cars.
I like Formula E. I have a lot of respect for Formula E and what it tries to do.
No, you don't.
I do. I like
How
Formula
can you
E.
enjoy a sport where it's a popularity contest is what I see Formula E as at the moment, isn't it?
Yes.
People vote for their favourite driver, don't they? And then they get a boost of electricity.
Yeah.
But the fans in Formula One can't just say, right, we're going to stop at the Shell garage and put some more fuel in your car. There's nitrous, can they, to go around the track?
Yeah. What do you think of Robo Race?
Exactly. No.
Have you heard of Robo Race?
I like Formula E, but I would hate to see it all go electric. I think with the way that they want to go with synthetic fuels, I think is probably the way to do it. If they can put that synthetic fuel into a V12 or a V10, even better.
This is one thing Charles and I actually agree on.
Yeah. Okay. So
there's the future.
So my take on it is never ever does Formula One want to go to electric. I hope not. And fingers crossed. Same as rally cars, for example. You can't have a rally car an electric. The whole point of a rally car is being on the side of the road. I don't know whether you guys have ever seen a live rally event. When I was a little,
it's being on the ragged edge, isn't it? And spitting flames. That's how I see rallying.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you want. You want that sound. You want that smell, don't you? You want that atmosphere. You're not going to get that out of electric. No way. No,
I think you're right.
So have you heard of something called Robo Race? It's like a...
No, I've never come across
I've never heard of that.
So it's an electric car which is controlled from the pit without a driver in it.
Isn't that just RC car racing?
Basically, yeah. Basically, yeah.
Is it done by people with lots of spots and 16-year-olds with remote controls that have a wheel on the side of their thing?
It's funny because I had an interview to go for an engineering job down this place, I remember thinking, this is so not where I want to be at the moment. Working for a company that develops this sort of technology. Don't get me wrong, the engineers there are top of the game engineers.
Yeah, I'm sure it's amazing kind of technology that they're working with, but the whole point of racing is that it's people racing people in machines. Yeah. And you take away the people aspect of racing, you lose all the character of racing.
Yeah. And I was also looking at some of the old racing, from the 1940s, 50s, 60s. And the way there's hardly any protection at all. You know what I mean? And they, in fact, they were kind of, some of those race drivers were my heroes. It's almost like a fighter pilot mentality.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what do you think of the new restrictions on the downforce on the Formula One cars?
I would say, I think that the issue with Formula One that was sort of acknowledged was the fact that the cars couldn't follow closely enough because of the various sort of turbulence that they were manufacturing in the car to keep that distance behind the car behind. And when the new regulations come in 2022, what are we in, 21, 22? I think with a whole new car, I mean, this season probably won't be massively different from last season and maybe 2019, but I think next year it'll be turn a new leaf, start with a blank slate, let's go racing.
I feel like everyone's kind of holding on, aren't they, to next season, saying, we'll be competitive in 2022.
It's become the mantra, and I think with certain teams like Haas F1, I think if 2022 doesn't pay off for them, they're out, they're done. Yeah. I think the same with Alfa Romeo as well.
I do like the fact, though, that they're bringing that budget cap, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
That will allow more works teams to kind of get involved, hopefully.
But then Ferrari is no. We do our own thing. And they've got their own.
Charles' many accents as well that he likes to bring out.
I do a good Fabio Briatore, but I'm not going to do that. Not that now.
Don't start me on Ferrari.
What's your opinion on Ferrari's sort of demise, Dervish?
Well, I think I'm not going to talk about Formula One, but the actual brand itself. Yeah. So I've spoken about this on many occasions before, and I think Porsche are doing a similar thing now, where they're forcing people into corners to buy cars of a certain value, and you have to be on a certain list to buy a certain car, and you have to own a certain car before you own the next generation car. There's also a lot of conspiracy, if you like, about people that work for Ferrari can't own a Ferrari. And that bugs me a little bit. Things like that. Just if I've got the money and I want to buy a Ferrari, obviously, if I'm going to go down to, I don't know, one of the big second-hand dealers in London, for example, when I wanted to buy a Ferrari, they haven't got a problem with it. But if you're ordering a new Ferrari from the factory, I think they're a little bit selective on who they allow to buy the cars, by the sounds of it.
That was quite the strategy that they went down, wasn't it? They wanted to be more exclusive, rather than be kind of an open market and sell in bulk. Because they had very different strategies to Maserati, for example. Yeah. Where Maserati just spent loads and loads of money to produced loads of cars, and you look at the value of have Maserati and their profits have just completely tanked.
Yeah.
Then you look at Ferrari, who've gone completely different strategy, and their brand and their worth has gone completely the other way.
Yeah, but then saying that, I mean, look how many Ferraris there are on the market at the moment. I don't know which one of you guys is in car sales?
That would be me.
Charles. So, Charles, do you know about...
Man who looks like he's aged 50 years.
It's the beard. It's the beard. I've gone from looking 14 to like with this white background.
Literally overnight.
I look like I'm appearing in court with this white background on me. He appeared via video link.
Do you know what? I've been thinking about the whole podcast, my branding and everything. And I noticed on your videos, you do the drive-by podcast, and you've got all the little bits and cars and stuff. And I have got stuff in this room. I have got cars.
That's just Charles's clutter that he gets out the back of his car each week.
I've got the E-Type there. I've got the Lamborghini. But I need a proper background. I need some shirts with my branding on it. Yeah. Although I'm a Gumball 3000 mad crazy guy, so I love all that.
Didn't we go to the start of the Gumball once, Charles, with David Hasselhoff?
Yes, we did. Yeah, the London-based one. But Dervish, if you need some motoring-related junk for your studio, I'm your man. I've got far too much that I need to get rid of.
Don't let him offload everything to you. He's got loads.
All right, and then obviously on the back of what I'm doing with the podcasting, I'm also I've developed an electric car for a junior child, so it's a Triumph TR3 body.
I saw your car at Hampton Court.
Did you? Okay.
I did. The green Triumph. Yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah,
is that electric then?
Yeah, it's electric, but it hasn't been finished.
Wow.
So you might have seen me pushing my little boy around the concourse.
I think I might have done. I think I was at Hampton Court. It was lovely to get down there.
Yeah, I mean that was a total shock to me that they wanted me down there, because what happened was 6 months prior to that, I contacted the Concourse of Elegance and I said, "Do you guys want me to bring this electric car for the junior concourse?" And they said yes. And then fast forward a little bit, we had the COVID kickoff, and then somebody approached me and said, "Could you design and develop this COVID light, UV light, to go into a building and clear off all the COVID bacteria on all the surfaces?" Wow. So I said, "I'll do that for you." So I started doing the CAD work for it in my spare time. So I was doing my 40 hours a week at the space place, and then I was doing 20 hours a week on the COVID light, and I was trying to do podcasting as well. So I didn't have time really for anything else.
You've become a jack of all trades though, thankfully.
Well, I'm no good at time budgeting and all that, So, but anyway, what happened was I contacted them back and I said, "Look, guys, the car's not finished." "I'll bring it. Just bring it," she said. "Oh, fair enough." I brought it down. I got down there, and it was about 5:30, Hampton Court Palace. I don't know whether you've been there at that time.
Yes, yeah.
It's such a nice, it's such a nice, humbling experience. It's
otherworldly.
Yeah, it's just weird because there's hardly anyone there, but all the cars are there. Most of them were covered up. But the only one that wasn't covered up was the Land Rover, the first Land Rover. That was
JUE, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just sitting there admiring that and having a cup of tea and stuff. And then later on, I had a few of the judges come round. Now, I didn't know they were judges. I thought they just wanted to look at the car, right? And they were interested. And I was saying to them, "Yeah, I haven't finished it. It's not connected up. The battery's not in there. All the bright work needs to be still done and finished." And I told them the story of how I came about to do that car, because that's a long story in itself, and I'll probably tell you that another time because it's a bit of a long story. But so the lady said, "Oh, it's a lovely, lovely little car." She said, "Are you going to be all right driving it around?" I said, "No, it's got no power." That's all right. She said, "You're a big lad, you can push it around." So I'm thinking, so I said to my wife, I said, "Did you hear her?" I said, "She just asked me to push this car around the whole of the concourse." Not once, not twice, maybe 3-4 times.
Really?
That's a yearly workout done, thankfully, though.
Yeah. So So what I did, that's exactly what I did. And afterwards, a lady came back to me. She was one of them females from BBC News channel. I thought I recognised her when she was talking to me. Because she had massive shades on, like a pop star or something. And I was thinking, who is this lady? Who is this lady? And I've got a thing where if I see a famous person, but I can't remember their name, and this is not deliberate, I'll walk up to them, I'll shake their hand, and I'll go, how's the family? How are you? Like I've known them for years.
Yeah.
And I've done it multiple times before. And my wife, Josephine, she says to me, do you know who that is? I was like, I think I know him from somewhere, but I can't remember where. She went, that was David Gandy, you idiot. I was like,
yes, he was there with his Jaguar, wasn't he?
Well, this is what I did. I walked up to him, I was chatting to him and stuff. And then, how's the family? Oh, blah, blah, your little girl and this and that. And I'm talking to him like I've known him. I met him a couple of years ago at a party or something.
Yeah.
Which is, in my brain, this is where I thought I met the guy, yeah? Anyway, she comes back to me, going back to the electric car. And she says, you nearly won it. And I said, get out of town. She went, no, you nearly won it. We really loved the story that you told us about the car. And she said, next year I'll finish it and bring it back, please.
Oh, fantastic.
And I was thinking,
that's awesome.
Because I think the Porsche won it, didn't it? That 917.
Yes, yeah, the exact same spec as the car that won the. Was it the best in show that it won? It's not a horse, but
I mean, it was literally when they put me next to that. I think I was in front or behind that. I think I was so embarrassed. I was like, how can I compete against this? Do you know what I mean? Like, look at it. It's beautiful
because it's interesting, won't it? Your Triumph. It's got character about it.
Yeah. I mean, you could still see the bare shell underneath, and where the guy, bless him, is an engineer at my space place where I work, and he used to work. He'd done all the chassis for me. He welded all the aluminium. I don't know whether you know, aluminium is really hard to weld.
Yeah, very difficult.
So hats off to Ron Jolly for that one. Definitely, that's his name. But yeah, so I mean, the podcasting just really it was just I want to try it out. I want to do it. All the background behind me here is going to be obviously revamped for car automobilio.
Yeah,
something. So
I think the beauty though is starting a podcast in this time is like you've nothing to lose.
No,
it's only you just talking about something that you're interested in.
Yeah, and the thing is most people don't have many places to go. So they're like, well, I'll give Dervish, 45 minutes. Normally it's 30 minutes, but then it turns out to be 1 hour. Or in the case of the Ace Cafe, Mark was with me for nearly 2 hours. Honestly, it was so interesting. The stories he was dropping knowledge on me like anyone's business. And I was like,
I can imagine.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got quite a few good guests coming up, it's been an interesting roller coaster for me because I'm not. This is not my area of expertise. I'm not a social media man. So I mean, I guess where do you want it to go, guys?
A nice house in the south of France by the end of this year would be nice.
Yeah. A nice DB4 GT Zagato or something.
Something like that. We don't have many demands.
At the moment, I think what we're doing is we're just trying to learn the ropes a little bit. Because we're early 20s, Charles, and we think we know everything, but we really don't.
I don't know what you're talking about. I know everything.
Charles knows infinitely more than anyone you've ever met before about everything.
Yeah.
Luckily. So at least, the moment, we're just trying to find the ropes, see where we want to go. Because we do enjoy it. And
same here. And at least you're trying. This is the thing, right? So,
exactly.
I was talking about it for a long time, and I thought, you know what? I've just got to bite a bullet and go for it. And if I make mistakes along the way, I'll learn. And if you look at the early days of any of the top podcasters out there, apart from the people that have pumped tens of thousands of pounds into podcasting, If you look at what's that footballer's name that started one recently?
Peter Crouch.
Peter Crouch, for example.
Yeah.
If you look at his early ones, they're not as great as the ones that he's doing now. And he's got tens of thousands of pounds and a whole team behind him. With me, it's just, obviously it's me and my virtual assistant, and then my agency in Peterborough who do all the editing for me and the publishing. But
yeah, I think our main investments have been a £35 Amazon voucher and a lot of Nescafe Zero to keep us going whilst we edit. That's about as far as we've gone.
Yeah. So I mean, editing. I did start the very first podcast was edited by me, and it took me. I think it took me 3 days using Adobe Professional or something. I thought, you know what, my time is so precious. I can't take that away from my little boy who's only just turned 4, and my wife. Because I could put 110% into the podcast, and I'd lose my job and my wife and my kid. Probably. That's worst case scenario. But I have thought about it, so I thought, right,
as long as you've explored all the options.
Yeah, let's invest properly into this, and try and get this off the ground. And I do have them low days where I think this ain't going to work. This is no, I can't compete with the JWWs and the Sam Moores and all these guys. But actually, what's the difference between us, you guys, me, and people at that top end? They've got social media training. They've been behind the camera before in previous jobs. They have thousands of pounds of investment into it. Now, I don't know whether that's their own or whether that's because when I first started out, I sent a clip of a video of Mr. JWW. Do you know who he is?
Yes. Yeah.
So I sent a video to my virtual assistant, right, in India, and I said to him, "Geezer, this is where I need to be." He's got 250,000 followers, and he's got so many views on his videos on YouTube.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he sent me a simple couple of words. He said, "This guy is really famous before he started the podcast, before he started the YouTube channel, before." So I was thinking, okay, so we're not comparing apples with apples here. So let's concentrate on me. What my speciality is I'll go to an engineering firm who build an Aston Martin racing car, for example, and I'll speak to them about the engineering design side of it and the philosophy of how they got to where they got to and stuff. Yeah, we can talk about the drivers, what they're doing next year, the entrepreneurial side of things I'm interested in as well. So,
of course,
that's where I am. And then you've got, what's the other guys' names? There's a couple of guys on.
So you've got like Seen Through Glass, haven't you?
He's good. Yeah,
he's good. I like
Garage, is it? He always got some interesting cars on.
What's those guys? They used to work for they used to work for Top Gear, but now they've got their own channel.
Who's
What's
that?
the Drive Tribe?
Drive Tribe.
No. Give me a sec. I'll find them. Hang on. 'Cause I remember looking at them, and they've got millions of followers now. And I was thinking, yes, this is where I need to be. Car Throttle.
Car Throttle.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Now they do some excellent stuff.
They just seem to buy old bangers that don't work and then video it all going wrong, don't they?
Yeah.
That's what I see on their YouTube channels.
Yeah. But again, that's interesting. And people want to hear it.
Absolutely.
Where are we? Go
ahead.
No, go on.
I think with Car Throttle is they seem to have a camera on all the time, whether it's just the three of them sort of sitting around looking through Auto Trader, looking at old bangers and then buying one and then seeing how long it takes them to break them or anything like that. That really does go the distance on YouTube, because that's to a certain extent what Top Gear would do. Is those sorts of stories with old bangers. They've got a lot of mileage, if you'll pardon the pun, out of that particular model of video. Don't lie, I can see him laughing in the corner.
Dervish, you're just not lucky you haven't got to put up with this poor humour day in, day out.
Hey, that's it.
Have it on the day we podcast. I have all this poor human, and the 3 days following, whilst he's editing the videos, I just get barrages of messages going through, alongside the 13 years that we've actually known each other.
Exactly. By the time
You get
I
used to it
finish
after a while.
by the time I have finished the process of doing one of our podcasts, I absolutely
One of us has been
hate
killed.
it. One of
us has been killed by the time he finishes editing a podcast.
I will strangle you one day, and this will be used as evidence.
Like the first couple of podcasts we ever did together. Honestly, before we could even start, we'd just be there pissing ourselves laughing because we couldn't have a clue what we were going to say, would we? Then after that, we'd put our voice on and think, oh God, we sound like robots on here, Charles, don't we?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've got slicker. We've got slicker.
No, you will do. No, you will. And I'm the same. And to be honest, some guests make me feel uncomfortable and don't bring the best out in me.
I apologise.
No, you guys are all right. But then you get other guests that are natural speakers and just want to talk to you. I had a female fighter pilot on a few weeks ago. I think it was.
You've really gone downhill with us two, then, haven't you? Really?
She's now a motivational speaker, so she's good at speaking to audiences, and she was fantastic, and a great speaker. And also,
how do you go about finding these people to talk to? And are they all
Instagram.
Quite receptive to
chatting? Yeah. Look, if you never try, you never know. That's my philosophy. If you don't ask, you don't know. I mean, I've asked really famous people to come on, and they've said no. I mean, the journey so far for me has been interesting. And I get a lot of my people just contact them on Instagram.
Yeah.
Say hi, how you doing? Do you want to come on? I explain a bit about what I want to talk about, and I do a little bit of research into their background and see what they're doing, and if there's anything coming up that they've got a book coming out. It's always a good one to promote their book as well. Come on the show, talk about your book, just things like that, really.
Yeah.
And then normally what happens is people will recommend going on the show or not. Sometimes they'll say steer clear of Dervish and full throttle.
I doubt that very much.
You'll be saying stay clear of those two drive-by podcast presenters.
No. You know what? Classic car and supercar fans and motor racing fans, they generally, I don't think there's snobbery involved in it. I think I was talking with Mark Wilmore about. I was talking with Mark about he's the Ace Cafe director.
Yes, yeah.
And he was in LA doing a hot rod tour of LA.
Oh wow!
And he said he pulled up at some sort of I think it was like similar to the Ace Cafe burger joint, whatever it was. And he said Jay Leno turned up. And Jay Leno just started chatting to him.
Yeah.
And then said to him, do you want to come back to my garage, see some of my vehicles?
If anyone else asked you that, you'd be a bit scared, wouldn't you?
You would, but with Jay Leno, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah. I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I find that
it's like a community, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone's got something in common.
Yeah, that's it.
You can all bore each other talking about cars because your wife and girlfriends have all left you because all you do is talk about supercars and Formula One.
Yes.
Somehow we've managed to keep our girlfriends, even though we meet them be our camera people when we go.
Well, exactly. But I think there's an underlying relationship that goes on between whatever car you're into. If you're an absolute Tesla fan and you just love them and you lavish all this care on your Model S or your Model X or whatever, and then you come up to someone with a Dodge Hellcat, there's still that underlying sense of this has four wheels. Yeah. It costs it's the second biggest purchase apart from a house that you'll make.
Yeah.
And you can love it with your whole heart, and it will always. Well, it might not start because none of the stuff I've got ever actually starts. But even though if it's just sitting there, you have this relationship with any type of car if you are a car fan.
Yeah. What have you got? What have you got in your garage? What do you sell?
We deal with. I'm in the family business, and we deal with Jaguar, Land Rover, and a lot of. I suppose they're called Stellantis brands now.
Yeah.
Jeep and Alfa Romeo and Fiat and various others like that. So I get to drive a lot of different cars. But I have a big love for British Leyland crap. Just British Leyland Rover V8.
It really does. It's quite unhealthy.
I mean, the amount of times that I've sat on Will's driveway waiting for a Range Rover Classic to cool down.
The one time he came over, when I was busy at work, he came in a 1982 three-door Range Rover, which had just needed to go in for, what was it, a new air filter or something, because the carburetors weren't working.
Some work on it.
And he was sat on my driveway for about a good hour.
I said, come out and look at how well...
The sun. I think it was like last June when lockdown had kind of eased.
Yeah.
Show me his new thing. I was really proud of, and it broke down for a good hour.
I said, listen to the noise that this thing makes. Now it's been, what do you call it? Played with, breathed on a little bit. And I went, oh. And sat there for 2 hours waiting for it to, I think the fuel had vaporized and it was sort of not really having much of it. So the amount of times I've done that, but I love an old banger. I have an immense love for old French cars.
He's got an unhealthy obsession with the Renault Twingo.
The Mark Rawn Renault Twingo. For some reason, I have an intense fascination with the Citroen C6. Just stuff that you go, that's junk, and you go, no, it's not. It's brilliant, and I want one.
No. I like the old. I like the old Citroens, the DS, for example, the SM with the Maserati engine. Yeah. Beautiful,
that's a fantastic car.
Beautiful car, absolutely stunning. In fact, I nearly bought two of those. Two, not one, two, for $5,000 US, about 15 years ago. And I remember I was, when you see a deal and you think that's too good to be true. That's too good to be true. And I even looked up how much it will cost to get these cars from Beverly Hills Car Club, which is where they were, left-hand drive, both of them, to the UK. I was like, 1,500 quid. Perfect. I'm still going to make money out of it. I'm still going to love it. I'm still going to keep one and enjoy driving it around. Because I'm that sort of guy that turns up at the watch exhibition in Chelsea with the banger, right?
Yeah.
With a classic Mini, yeah.
With something interesting.
Yeah. And a lot of it is, am I going to get there? People just stare at you when you turn up in a car like that. They just want to take pictures of the car, and that's what I enjoy. I mean, I work in an office 55 miles away from my house.
Yeah.
And the year before, I had a Porsche 924 Le Mans,
fantastic.
which limited edition. There were about 1,000 made in white and black. I think it was right-hand drive car. And I bought this car thinking I'm going to make a lot of money out of this, and I didn't. I broke even, which is fine. But I bought it just for fun, really, just to own a Porsche. I know a lot of Porsche people say, "Oh, it's not really a Porsche; it's a Volkswagen or an Audi." But listen, it had the badge. To me, that's a Porsche. It's a Porsche.
Yeah, no, I'm really sorry to say I was cycling, as Charles likes to take the mick out of me for doing.
I have a great issue with your love of cycling.
I just like to go around with men in lycra. And
is that what it is?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And what I saw in the distance, I was at Belvoir Castle, and I saw in the distance what I thought was a brand new Porsche 911.
Yeah.
I thought, that looks nice.
Yeah.
Got a bit closer, and it turned out to be a Volkswagen Beetle. And I'm very sorry to say.
That's how keen Will's eye is for cars.
It's full of flies with all my outdoor activity.
Exactly. What is your daily driver, Dervish? What's your daily?
Well, we've got two cars in the family. One's a Mini Countryman.
Lovely.
Yeah.
2017 plate, which I call my workhorse, if you like, and that takes me to work and back, which is it's got high mileage, 94,000 miles on the clock for 2017 plate is a lot of miles.
Oh, wow.
And then we've just recently bought a Volvo XC40.
Great car.
Yeah,
lovely man for Volvo.
I sold them for 2 years.
Yeah, it's a lovely family car. And the safety is impeccable, so that's why majority of times
Yeah.
why we look for cars to put my little lad in.
Yeah.
You know, we want to make sure he's as safe as possible.
My dad bought a V70 Volvo, as you do when you get to 40 years old, and said it was the best thing he's ever done. Was buy a Volvo.
Yeah.
Sitting in it was like getting into an armchair.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had a company car in my first engineering job out of university. I was an airport engineer at Farnborough Aerodrome.
Oh wow.
And they gave me a company car, and this was an estate Volvo, you know, the old square ones.
Yeah.
What they call
840 was it? Would it have been an 840?
Yes, 840 GL, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had one of them, and it had massage. It had not massage seats, but it had seats like sofas.
Yeah.
And I remember it was cold, and being on the airfield all day in the winters, not the best, in that open plain like that, where there's no buildings to cover the wind coming in and hitting you. And I remember every now and again I'd get a cup of tea from the workhouse there, and I'd go into the car, turn the heating on in the seat, and just sit there. And it was just the best. It was
such a nice place to be.
Comfortable car, really comfortable car.
But Volvo have always an interior as well. You look at the current ones, and they are just lovely places to be. We also joke that the new Polestar is straight out of Grand Designs.
Yes.
Man, the Polestar.
Yeah. It's funny because Polestar, I'd never heard of them until I went to Dubai, and I saw it outside the hotel, and I said to my wife, "What the hell is that car? I've never seen that car before."
Yeah.
And the guy on the door, he said, "Oh, this is a Polestar, sir." I said, "We don't have those in the UK yet." At that point, we didn't have them in the UK, but now I think I haven't seen one on the road, but I've seen the advert, and they look stunning.
They look great.
I've seen quite a few on the road actually.
Yeah.
I drove one just a little bit a week or so ago. And since then, I've just seen them everywhere. Once you've tuned into a car, you can spot them all over the place. But it's very nice. But I'm a bit the range isn't as good as that they thought it was going to be, I think. But as a place to be, and as a thing to smell, because it smells quite unique. Because Volvo try not to use any of the normal glue that you put in a car, because if it gets warm, you get toxins out of it and all that sort of stuff. So it smells slightly odd as well. But it looks tremendous.
So is Polestar a brand of Volvo?
Polestar was the tuning company for Volvo, so they used to do all of their touring car racing
cars,
and then you get sort of tuning packs that were done by Polestar for things like V60s and stuff like that. And then they went, right, okay, there's a lot of similar thing that DS did with Citroen. So DS is a standalone brand, and Polestar became the electric standalone brand for Volvo.
Wow. Now you've turned me. I think I'm going to look at that as my next car, I think.
It was a lovely car. It was really, really nice. And it's very odd. There's no start. I got in it to move it, and there's no start button to it. Once you've got in the car, it's ready to go. All you have to do is shift it into D, and then when you get out, you don't press a button or anything like that, which I thought was a little strange. Close the door, lock it, and it turns off. It's weird. For the sake of doing that, you're not saving a fat amount of time, really.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting car.
Will, what was you going to say, mate?
I was going to say Polestar are the company that made all the bright blue Volvos, aren't they?
Yes, yeah.
I think they look absolutely brilliant.
They were great. They were really good. But there are a lot of car brands seem to be doing that at the moment, having a standalone brand that is like semi with them, like DS and Citroen.
Well, it's what Renault have done with Alpine now, isn't it? With the F1.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all just a PR stunt, isn't it? Just to sell more cars.
You complete cynic. What are you talking about? A PR stunt? You can't be that cynical, mate. It's a brilliant move made by brilliant people, I'm sure.
No, I do love an Alpine. That would be my dream daily driver, I think.
Would it? Okay.
As a daily driver, 100%.
What about you, Charles? Yeah.
It's one of the things that we actually agree on is our love for the Alpine.
Yeah.
And the fact that it is great, because sort of the motoring journalists that have them really love them. And you go, well, if they're driving this, that, and the other 1 week, and then they go, I'm going to have a 4-cylinder, I don't even think it's 2 litre. I think it might be less than that. I think it's 2 litre. little bit of French loveliness with a nice bit of paint and no door handle, just some little pull straps. I think that's probably all you need to know about the car. I drive a Freelander 2 as my daily driver. It is like you say, it's the workhorse. Fold the seats flat, it becomes the Freelander, and it's just, I can get whatever I need in it, and it just takes me from A to B very nicely in comfort. Probably the best car that Land Rover ever made, if I'm honest. Yeah. Just no issues, touch wood. And it's
not quite true, is it, Charles? Not no issues anyway.
Not no issues. I have got an alarming squeak coming from one of the wheels, but I've got to have a look at that. But go on, tell Dervish what your daily driver is.
Yeah, come on.
Mine's a Mark 8 Fiesta ST, and I do get called a yob by absolutely everybody that I know because I drive a Fiesta ST.
But
frankly, I'm sorry, the best car I've ever driven.
Oh yeah, it is a great car to drive.
I have a few issues with it. I drove 2 years ago the Mark 1 Escort RS 1600.
Yeah.
Proper old thing, no power steering. You couldn't find fourth gear, but as a driving experience was awesome. And the exhaust did fall off because I hit the camber all wrong on the track.
Oh no!
So I did manage to break it. But there's something about the new Mark 8 Fiesta that feels quite similar. Mm-hmm. And so when you're driving around town, as I often do in sport mode, you can make crackles and bangs. You can be a yob because people expect you to be a yob. That's what I love about the car is that you can manage expectations of the public image impeccably. Because people expect you to go around in first gear and then lift off and get the crackles and bangs.
And as
I do.
I remember when you bought that car, you said to me, you'd sent me a picture and said, do you think this looks all right? And I had a look over it and I say, yeah, that looks okay. And then the car arrives and I go, they're not standard wheels. They're aftermarket wheels.
On this one. Yeah.
They're racing wheels because there was no locking wheel nut. You could pretty much taken the wheel off with a spanner.
I'm avoiding Liverpool at all costs, honestly.
Sorry to everyone in Liverpool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nothing against Liverpool, but yeah, you have. I mean, even though you're in a leafy suburb, you still have a crook lock on that car because you're terrified that it's.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm absolutely terrified. I don't actually sleep at night. It's just by my bedroom as well.
You're touching the keys in your hand like that at night.
Yeah. No, there are a few issues with the car, I have to admit. You said the same thing, Charles. It feels quite soft, doesn't it, when you're going through a corner?
It does. It's not massively taut.
It's incredibly good at handling. But what they've done is they've put new springs in to go with the new limited slip diff. So that they're more kind of banana shaped. This is me with my car knowledge that Charles doesn't realise I actually have. That when you go into a corner, it pushes against.
Yeah.
And they've done that for comfort. And I think that's completely wrong. I want to go into that car and be squeezed into the bucket seats, which I am because I'm quite big.
Girthy.
And girthy. Thank you, Charles. And and you go into a corner and you don't have a bad back when you come out of it.
Yeah.
And I think for motorway cruising, that's fine. I went up to the Lake District in it, which is 200 miles. And it 44 miles to the gallon, very, very comfortable. But when you're going on the B roads, you want to feel like you're on the road and properly driving. I sometimes think it's lacking that feel.
Right.
Along with the styling at the back, which just looks boring, to be honest with you. But as an all-round driving car, it is brilliant.
Yeah.
For you, yeah.
I mean, I guess for me, my ultimate daily driver would be like a new Porsche 911, if I could afford one, just as a daily driver. But then I've never been one to say I'm going to have two cars and one's going to stay in the garage throughout the winter. I don't understand. I've got friends that do it, and they'll probably shoot me for saying that. I totally disagree with people that just wrap up their cars and put them in a garage for winter. I don't understand it. Cars are meant to be driven. They're made in the factory. They're mechanical moving machines to get us from A to B. And some of these Concourse of Elegance cars that you see that are worth 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 million pounds, they're still cars at the end of the day. They were made in a grotty factory in Italy somewhere.
Yeah, they still want to be driven.
Yeah, and if you don't drive them, what happens to them? We all know what happens to them. They start seizing up.
And you're depriving the world of the beautiful noise that they make.
Yeah. Yeah.
People aren't getting educated these days because everything's electric and you can't hear anything.
Yeah. So
that's why millennials don't enjoy cars as much, is because they can't hear them anymore. That's one of my theories, anyway.
You being the Gen Zer or whatever age we are.
I represent the millennials these days. I don't even remember, when was a millennial born? Was it 90?
I don't know, and quite frankly, I don't care.
He loves those sort of words.
I don't know what generation we are, but we're young.
We're in it. We're in one of them.
That's an interesting point that I actually thought of the other day that I'd like both of your takes on, because I haven't seen you in a while, and this is the first podcast with Dervish. What is the opinion on classic cars that are being turned into electric vehicles?
I don't understand why they keep the gearbox in that car. So
I remember you saying something like that.
We did is it an Aston Martin DB4 that got turned into, not the DB5, was it a DB4 or a DB5? That got turned into an electric car.
DB4, I think it was.
Was it a DB4? We covered it on the podcast. That's how much we pay attention to it. Anyway, they did a brilliant job of converting it into an electric car for whatever reason it was, but they left the gearbox in the car. Just redundant.
That was a bit strange. But
sorry,
I was
going to ask it earlier, Dave. Did you do the same thing with the Triumph, or did you take the gearbox out?
No. So what we did with the Triumph was it started off as a pedal car.
Oh, right.
So the originals that were built by a gentleman in Coventry, who he got the green light from Triumph themselves to build 100 of these cars, half scale for juniors, and they were all pedal. There's only one that I know of that exists, and it's in the National Museum in Coventry, Automobile Museum, Coventry, but that's been converted into electric. I couldn't find one to buy, and this is why I started to build my own one from scratch. So the idea of putting it into a pedal car was always the favoured way. And then I just said, look, let's just stick an electric motor in it and be done with it. And that's what we did. So, I mean, for me, as long as the car, if you can take like a Porsche 911 or a Mustang or any car, take out the engine, put it on a pallet, leave it in a shed somewhere or a workshop, put the electric motor in, drive it around. And then if for example, in about a month's time, 2 months, 2 years, whatever, somebody wants to come back and say, I want the original engine back in, you should be able to just slot that back in.
Yeah,
Is it as easy as that, though?
Not on all cars. Not on all cars. So the Porsche 911 is one car that you can get away with doing that. The bolting mechanism is, I think it's 3 bolts and the engine drops out anyway.
Really?
On the Porsche 911. So the electric motor, there's a guy in LA that does it, Bisimoto. I don't know if you know him.
I'm aware. Yeah.
So he does that. Fantastic guy, actually. And then you've got companies that build electric cars from scratch to be electric cars, but they've got the old classic car body shell on it. So I don't know if you heard of charge cars.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're
Citroen
Mustangs.
2CV.
Say that.
I feel like they've done a Citroen 2CV, or is that someone else I'm thinking of?
No, that's someone else. So Charge Cars done Mustang, 60s Mustangs.
Oh, right.
And they buy the shell from the American Coachworks, the guys that originally make Mustang bodies for other, stock racing and hot rods and things like that. But I think they buy the bodies from there. And then they just convert everything else into electric. They've got touch screens in there and everything.
Would you argue that's taking away the character and uniqueness about the car and why you buy the car, though? With a Mustang, for example, are you taking the engine out of it? Isn't the engine one of the reasons why you buy a Mustang?
Yes.
You want that V8 engine.
Yes.
And you want it like Steve McQueen.
Yes.
As Charles often thinks I do.
Yeah. I mean, you want to drop the gearbox, and you want to feel that gear. Yeah, like you said earlier, you miss the gear.
Essence of driving.
Yeah, that's the essence of it. That's the beauty of mechanical structure. Being me, I'm a mechanical structure. and I'm driving a mechanical structure down the road. So yeah, I mean, electric cars, yes, if we can get away with converting them and then able to convert them back, I'm all for it. If it's just completely ripping the shit out of a car and just welding brackets into, I'm not interested.
I think you've bridged the gap very well there. I think who was it who invented the computer? Charles Babbage, I think it was his name, in the late 1800s, said of the unerring certainty of machinery. And I think that is where when you talk about missing a gear in that, what was the RS200? With an electric car and you get in and it's pretty faultless most of the time, I think it would be difficult to build up a relationship, an emotional relationship with that car. I think.
I feel like that's where the world potentially is going as well, isn't it? With all things, it's losing that interest.
Yeah,
and
it's difficult because governments are pushing for more electricity. I don't know what the agenda is. I don't know whether there's something going on.
Is it all cars by 2030 have to be electric or something?
Yeah. So, I mean, I went to buy a new Mini this year. I wanted to order a new one because that's what I do. I just change every 3 or 4 years. I'll get a new car. And I phoned Mini up and I said, could you give me another Countryman diesel? And they said, no, we stopped doing diesels.
Really? Have they canned the diesel on the Countryman?
They've canned it now, yeah. So I said, well, what's available? And she said petrol or hybrid or full electric. Full electric's not going to work because I drive so many miles.
You're doing 55 miles a day minimum, really, aren't you?
Well, no, 110 because there and back.
Oh, of course, yeah, because there and back, yeah.
So, and sometimes I go into London after work.
Of course.
Yeah. So, when COVID's not with us, if I've got a classic car, which I'm restoring one at the moment, I'm restoring an old Mini at the moment.
Oh, wonderful.
But I used to drive to London in that. So I used to drive 55 miles from here to work, do a full day work, and then I'd meet one of my friends in a bar or a restaurant in London. And I'd drive the Mini down to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
And they just let you park outside because it's a Mini right outside the restaurant.
Oh, yeah. I've been in some really funny spots with that car, I'll tell you. I remember once there was a traffic jam, Blackfriars Way, around Blackfriars.
Yeah.
And there's a bridge you can see from the road. I was sitting in traffic and I saw this guy grab a woman's handbag and run off.
God.
So I'm in the Mini and I'm thinking, well, I'm going to give chase now because I can get through the gaps.
Did you think you were Michael Caine driving through the streets? Is that what you thought?
Oh yeah, I've done some silly stuff.
Brilliant.
But, So we chased him and I got up to the bridge with the car by going through all the nooks and crannies and round the buses and stuff. And then I drove round the wrong way because it was a one-way street and he was running up the other way. And I caught him.
Fantastic.
You're going to tell us you absolutely ram-raided him like the police do with mopeds these days?
No. Do you know what happened? I tooted him with my horn. And I wound down the window. And it's the beauty of a classic car, isn't it? The little horn's like a little meet in a Mini.
Yeah.
And I wound down the window. It took me about 30 seconds to do it whilst moving with the left hand. And I said, "Oh, you stop, come here." And he just froze. Luckily, he froze. And the police arrived pretty quickly because they're all around there, aren't they, all the time? So, but it's nice. It's nice to have a small car in London. Something you do park in some
100%.
some nooks and crannies.
But Charles, you took the Defender 110, the new one, didn't you, down to London?
I tried to get a 110 Defender from, where was I going from? I was going from the city to
home. I think you were going home, weren't you? But you were going through Camden.
I was going through King's Cross.
That was it.
And I thought, I'll do some pictures while I'm down here for the Instagram. So I pulled out the camera, went down some little streets, and I don't think I've ever been more lost or stuck in a car that is the size of a small yacht.
Or angry, because he spent the whole half an hour on the phone to me. I don't think he got a single word in.
I was
There was just expletives down the phone all the time.
Furious. The amount of one-way streets and bits I couldn't go up, and this one's pedestrian, this one's cycle. I probably could have pulled over a building because it's a very talky car, the Defender. And gone through that way, but I was not a happy bunny. But the beauty of a small car in London, I think a Renault Twingo would be a great car for London. My strange love of the Renault Twingo, and if you made it electric, even better. So yeah, that's the driving in London is becoming a real issue. A, because they don't want us there, and B, because
they're getting rid of all the rat roads now, aren't they? Around all the different boroughs, which is a nightmare.
What's weird is
topic of Charles is fun.
How old are you two? How old are you two guys?
I'm 23, and what are you? 22?
Nearly 23.
So I've been driving. I've been driving longer than both of you have been alive.
Oh, I can imagine.
Okay,
absolutely.
so imagine London, driving in London 25 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I lived in Peckham, which is central London, about 3 miles from Westminster, I'd say, about that. And every now and again, we used to go nightclubbing. We used to get in my old Mark I Fiesta. And they used to, I've got a message again saying we're nearly out of time, but we will finish soon. So we used to jump in my Mark I Fiesta, which I bought for 30 quid, right?
Awesome.
Right. And we drove down, we used to go nightclubbing. We used to drive back home, no problem.
Yeah.
Parking wasn't a problem. That road down, what is it? Bank, where they've made all the cycle lanes. They've made a bus lane and a cycle lane.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
On the other side of Westminster Bridge. You've got that. Yeah. So my thought on that, right, is that when you look down there, you don't see many bikes and you don't see many buses going down there.
Exactly.
I don't know who's making the rules up, but they don't want us to drive in London. And you're right, man. It's getting harder and harder and harder as opposed to 25 years ago.
Yeah.
You know,
I would love to get like a Jaguar F-Type or something, go at 3 o'clock in the morning, put a GoPro on the front of it and try and do a rendezvous.
That's my idea. That's my idea, you thieving sod.
Someone's done that already, though, with another car. There's a famous video. Have you seen it?
Rendezvous.
Yeah. Is that the video name?
Rendezvous was done in Paris in the 60s.
Like Claude Lelouch or what?
Claude Lelouch did it. But there's a difference whether they said it was his Ferrari, but it was actually his Mercedes, and they adapted the noise of the car. So there you go. And
then they did the one in Monaco, didn't they? Which was just an absolute farce.
Yes, they did with Charles Leclerc
and Prince Albert.
It was all wrong. It was a good idea, but it was just done at the wrong time. And then for the Nissan 350Z, back in the day, they did a run through Detroit. I think it was Detroit. They called it the run. So there've been a few of those sorts of videos. But that sort of thing, that's just the best thing ever, to be able to blast through a city doing a stupid amount.
I did get very jealous of Jeremy Clarkson when he did it in the Chiron in Turin. I know it was staged, but that is awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to do that as well. That's definitely on the bucket list.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. We'll do a joint video.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll do a race. We'll do a race from Peckham
I think
to Westminster.
that's a great idea.
Yeah. What car? What cars?
Oh, cars.
I'd use my Mini, my classic Mini.
I think that's probably a smart idea, the Mini. I think
just my Fiesta ST.
You can do your Fiesta ST, and I think like an F-Type Jaguar, something like that, just to be
3 very different cars.
Yeah, just for comedy value, trying to thread that through little streets in London. It's a great idea.
Yeah. Now, are you prepared to go to jail? Because if we're racing around London, we are going to get seen on cameras now.
Well, yeah, there is that. It depends. If I have put the SD card in the GoPro and I've actually got the footage, yep, you can bang me up. That's fine.
Thankfully, owning an ST, I've been to jail a few times now. So it's
it's all those
not too bad.
You're just obliged to do in a Fiesta ST. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
All the local parish councils having all their meetings about the noise of bangs and crackles that it makes.
Donuts on the Tesco car park, the whole bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Guys, five car garage. 5 car garage.
5. Oh,
unlimited value.
Garage. Oh,
Unlimited value. Oh. Oh dear, oh dear. This is difficult.
I think I've got mine.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, go on then. I think just because of how much I love that car, it would have to be the Bugatti Chiron. I know it's stereotypical, but I love it.
Yeah.
It would my Fiesta ST again.
Yeah.
I love that car. Absolutely love that car. RS 1600 Escort.
That's 3.
Yeah.
The Land Rover Defender 90 or autobiography, Charles. Do you know which one I mean?
Yes.
And then it would have to be the Aston Martin V8.
Fair enough.
In royal blue.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my five car garage. I think that would be my take.
I think this is difficult. I think top one would be this is a left field one, but it's the Touring Superleggera coach built Maserati.
You'd say that one.
The Scia Possestia, I think it's called, something like that. But that does look tremendous. So that's one.
Mm-hmm.
I think a Land Rover Defender, old shape 90, previous 90.
Yeah.
Alpine A110. What's that? What are we up to? 3 there.
Yeah.
Renault Twingo.
Mark 1.
Got to be in there. Got to be in there. And a classic Range Rover, just because I want to be able to see it not working and just admire how lovely it is, even though all the oils fall out at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably my 5-car garage, if I'm honest.
Okay. Mine would be a BMW E30 318 IS, which I owned and sold for rather a lot less money than what I bought it for. I've regretted it ever since.
Yeah.
A Singer Porsche 911.
Good point.
Yeah, very, very, very good shout.
Yeah. A Koenigsegg, probably the Agera, I'd say.
That's a tremendous car. I remember I went to Geneva with a friend of mine. Yeah. And this friend, we have a mutual friend who had ordered an Agera. I think it was an Agera.
Was it a 1-1?
Say again?
Was it a 1-1 he ordered an Agera?
I can't remember. It was 1 or the 2. So this guy rings us up while we're at Geneva and says, "Oh, pop onto the Koenigsegg stand and have a chat with this guy." So we go on the stand and said, "Yeah, we've been told to come and ask how long the car's going to be with so and so. I forget his name." And we say, "Yeah, so what's he looking like before he gets his car?" And he goes, "Knows, mate. F knows, mate. No idea. Do you want a beer, fellas?" And I go, "It's 9 o'clock in the morning. This guy is a lunatic." He was very nice, lunatic, but he doesn't know when the car is going to be built. He's offering me a beer at 8:30 in the morning. I quite want to party with this guy. But yeah, the Koenigsegg's are a fantastic car. I would actually love to.
And how they start as well is just amazing. You know, Chicken Farmer or something.
I think you're probably right, actually. So what was that? What
we digress.
That was up to 3. It was up to 3 there. 250 Ferrari short wheelbase.
Oh, yes. We really are no budget on this one, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think you're up to what, 100 million now, Dervish?
Yeah, and then a Jensen Interceptor.
Yes.
Would you go with the FF? Would you go with the 4-wheel drive version, or would you go for something a little more rear-wheel drive?
Rear-wheel drive, probably.
Rear-wheel drive,
yeah.
You just want that block V8 in your life, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. 7-litre monster of a car. It doesn't stop when you ask it to.
No, exactly.
There's one of those that lives
when you want it to.
There's one of those that lives in a village near us. I don't think I've ever seen it leave its driveway.
Oh, don't. That's terrible. I've got a tendency to knock on people's doors when they do that.
Yeah.
Get that on the road. Get in it. Go and get the keys. Go and get in it now.
Yeah.
But I knocked on the gentleman's door once and I said to him, "If you're not going to drive that Mark II Jag, could I drive it?"
Yeah.
He looked at me like I was stark raving mad. I'd never met him before in my life. I just knocked on the door. My wife was like that in the car, going, "Jesus Christ, what are you doing?"
The bloke next door to us here, he's got a garage. He's got a C-type Jaguar in his garage.
Yeah.
I think it's real. I don't know. It's
It
very,
does
very
look
much.
real.
it does, doesn't it? It takes it out once a year just to make sure it's working. And I think, oh, for God's sake, come on.
Yeah.
I would oblige happily to take it off your hands just for a drive. I would be that giving to you. Just
you're a caring neighbour. You are
a very caring neighbour. Take him some sugar, cup of tea. There you go.
Can I have my C-type?
Can I have a C-type, please?
Okay, next question, guys. I'm going to ask you. Road trip. Where, who with, and what car?
Definitely not Charles.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
This is what we discussed, though, isn't it? We discussed this in great detail.
We often do, and do you know what? That's a very difficult. I think I'd like
so
to go
many places that
I would like to. If I'm going on a road trip, I'd like a week or maybe the rest of my life in Lake Como or some of the Italian lakes, Garda maybe, by way of the Stelvio Pass in a Alfa Romeo Disco Volante by Touring Superleggera, because I love a bit of coach building.
Just wants to be Jeremy Clarkson, basically.
I do, yeah. And then who with? That's, I don't know. Does Margot Robbie count? Can I have Margot Robbie? I'm not. It
can be anybody, dead or alive. It could be presidents.
Dead or alive. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're talking. I know exactly who he will say, but I'm not going to say it. I know. I can tell you who he's going to be going with, but
Cameron Anderson.
No.
Charles is going to say Mike Hawthorne.
Do you know what? I was going to say Mike Hawthorne.
Okay.
That's it.
He knows exactly where I want to go and who with as well, probably.
I know who with. Would I be so bold as to say you're going on this road trip with James Hunt?
Maybe.
Look, you see, or is it Nicky Lauda, depending on which week you're on?
Yeah.
So where are you going?
No, I think I'd go a bit more rogue.
Oh, okay.
I think Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia.
Well, at the moment, I'd probably have to take an army lorry, wouldn't I? But I'd like to do. I think Southeast Asia, because it's a part of the world I haven't seen very much of.
Yeah.
I've been on holidays to Italy in the south of France and all around Europe and experienced driving roads. But I never really experienced driving road in Southeast Asia. So I thought I'd. Yes, thanks, Charles. I thought I'd just go experience that. I don't know what car I'd go in though. Probably have to go in a tank at the moment, but maybe an Alpha 4C.
Alpha 4C. That's
maybe an Alpha 4C.
Yeah,
not going for comfort.
No.
And yeah, it would probably be with James Hunt, because you wouldn't have a boring time, would you?
I rest my case. So we both know each other far too well, if I'm honest, and we're painfully transparent. Where would you go, Dervish?
I would probably take a Jaguar E-Type Eagle.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I want to swap one of my cars for the Eagle in my 5-car garage.
We can't go back to other questions. Plow on.
It would probably be somewhere in Turkey. I speak the language anyway.
Oh, do you?
But it'll be one of the coastal roads along the Turkish coast.
Mm.
Who would I have with me? I'd say Sir Sterling Moss. I'd say.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
He would be a right shout to talk to.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't have a boring conversation, would you?
No. We've all picked people that when you get to wherever your donation is, you're going straight to the bar, pretty much.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, 100%. So, last question. I'll let you guys go. So, a car brand that's been bankrupt, and you have the opportunity to bring it back to life. Which one would you go for?
Oh, a car brand that's gone bankrupt. That you get to bring back to life. I think there is. I don't know. I think if
I wouldn't bring back TVR.
You're not going with TVR.
That's been done, isn't it? At the moment, it's coming back.
I think,
isn't it?
they are being done. I think, aren't they?
They're
in constant state of flux between working and not working, like the car.
Over.
Okay, I'm going. My first thought, I'd bring back the Rover name.
Yes. Okay.
I'm seeing Will's eyes glaze over there. I think I'd go with it. You got to think of the great Rovers: the P6, P5, SD1. City Rover. No, not really. And I think, you've got to go back to making 4-door sort of sports saloon cars with high-powered engines. They obviously use the Rover V8. You've got to have a chunky engine in it, maybe a V6 or something like that for the modern times, with classic styling.
Everything in beige.
A lot of brown. I was just going to say
a lot of brown and beige.
Yeah, velour seats. Rover.
Exactly.
I'm bringing back Rover.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay. And what about you?
This is a difficult question, but I think I'll be bringing back Saab. Because
Oh,
I love the turbo.
Mm.
Everything's turbo, actually. There's no point saying I just love the turbo. I like everything's turbo. Dad had a Saab, brilliant car.
Mm.
I just love Saab. I love what they standard for. They say.
Where's he gone?
It's frozen.
It's frozen on it.
Safety, but I'm back there now.
Yeah, you're back.
Oh,
you're back.
no.
Yeah.
This is my internet connection's unstable. But yeah, Saab. Saab is the car that I bring back.
Saab. Okay.
There we go.
And me.
What are you going for? That's what
Bristol.
Bristol. That's Rogue than Rover there. Bristol. They made some good cars. They made some very good-looking cars. Which is the one that I'm thinking of? The late Bristol that became a bit of a cult car.
I can't remember. Was it the 402? Or was that the
I'm
old one?
I'm going to go on Auto Trader and see what we can find for Bristol.
They came out with a sports car recently, just before they went bust.
Yeah.
Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
That's it, the Blenheim.
The Bristol Blenheim. That was the one I'm thinking about. That was
that's what springs to mind when I think of Bristol.
Yeah,
the Blenheim. That was the car. Oh, yeah, splendid.
Beautiful cars. They're more so aerospace engineering kind of techniques involved in making those cars as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It was all left over from the war, really, wasn't it? Most of the.
Yeah. So I would go for them, definitely.
That's brilliant. No, that's a good idea.
Guys, it's been an absolute cracker today, man. I really enjoyed talking to you guys.
Likewise. Thank you
for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
No, it's really good.
Very kind of you.
We'll have to do it again, and hopefully 100%. We can meet up this year sometime at one of the classic car events, or if you guys hang out at any of the, caffeine and cough. What's it called?
Caffeine and Machine.
We've been meaning to get down there, but we haven't.
Me too. Yeah.
They're doing a front wheel drive one that I want to take my car with, and Charles to take in a bath with.
They did the front wheel drive event. But I think, that's definitely. It'd be lovely when we'd be able to get back to car shows and things like that. Yeah, get to Blenheim again.
Definitely.
So that would be excellent. We should do that.
Are you boys going to the Auto Royale in Waddesdon Manor? July?
No, but now you've mentioned that. I forgot about that. I think that might be one for me to look at, actually.
That's. I think I'm right in saying that's the first time they've done it, isn't it? The Auto Royale.
Is that what I'm thinking? Oh, which one am I thinking?
So this is a classic car show.
You think you're Salon Privé, Charles?
No, I've never been to Salon Privé, actually.
No, I haven't been either. I haven't been to Salon Privé. I normally go to the Concourse of Elegance, Hampton Court, or Windsor, or wherever it is, Kensington Palace.
Have you ever been to the at the Royal Artillery Company?
No, in London.
That's a that's a brilliant one.
Yeah,
well worth a look.
I know someone that shows their Ferrari there, and he invites me every year, and I've never been.
Yeah,
well worth a trip.
Yeah, but this year, because I'm podcasting since September now, I'm podcasting, so I'll probably go out to all the shows this year, and try and get on the ground.
It's good to get your name out there as well, isn't it? To meet people.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. So hopefully we'll meet up face to face soon, have a beer or a coffee, whatever you guys want to do.
Great idea.
No, it sounds like a great idea.
So guys, where do people find you? Tell me where people find you on social media.
Well, you can field the drive-by side of it.
Yeah, you can like and subscribe at the Drive-By Podcast on YouTube and click the notification button on, and also on Instagram at drive_by podcast. That's my radio TV voice for selling things.
That's your radio voice. So you can find me on Instagram at Charlie Drives, Charlie_drives, and I've got I will have a blog coming out in the next few days, just finishing that up, and then I'm going to crack on with YouTube, my own YouTube soon. That will be Saturday Night Drive. That's cool. So That is the plan. But no, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having us.
No, that's good. That's good. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook under Full Throttle with Dervish. As Will just said, subscribe, like, comment, share. Just hit the notification button so you get all the latest info from me. I will be running a competition about a couple of months' time to win some free tickets. So look out for that, guys. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. Everybody, take care and just keep driving. Really, just keep driving, man.
Absolutely. Take care.
All right. See you guys. Take care. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.